Right, it's the day after the night before. Another really impressive away victory for Celtic. Our away troubles seem like a distant memory. We're going to be chatting about all of that with Jackie and Euan. First of all, Jackie, a couple of bits of really sad news since we last spoke to you. First of all, the passing of Walter Smith, age 73, a manager that you played against, a manager you played under for Scotland. What were your thoughts on Walter Smith as a guy?
I liked him both as manager and person. I was obviously he was up against us for many a year when he was manager at Rangers and done a great job. And but I was fortunate enough to play under him with the national team, and I really enjoyed it. I thought he was an excellent manager, motivator, everything. But he was a really good man. A lot of good. Messages about him in the last few days about the players he played under, but he was a nice guy, and obviously we all remember as well with the stuff with Tommy Burns with him and Coisty. So no, it's a shame. He's 73, still young as well. But I knew he'd been ill over the last year, but still sad news and big shock.
Yeah, I guess the way he carried himself when Tommy Burns passed was probably the biggest indication of what a great guy he was.
Yeah, and he was always, to be honest, he was, as he took the football side away, he was a nice man. Even when I was into management myself, he was involved with the LMA, and I'd seen him a few times, and he gave me some good advice and certain things I was dealing with at Dundee United. So. No, I really liked him.
Just the other bit of news, I think it was a couple of days earlier that Wim Jansen, your former manager, is living with dementia. Obviously, we wish him all the best, and pretty sad news as well with regards to Wim.
Yeah, it's sad. Again, another nice man. It's a horrible thing to have, and I think it's his birthday today. Actually, Wim, he's 75. So. No, I've thoughts with him and his family. Hopefully he's got all the support and care around about him.
Definitely happy birthday, Wim, as well. We'll touch on last night then, Hibs v Celtic. Euan, we didn't hear your thoughts, obviously, on the game yet. What was your overall kind of impression of the way the game played out?
I enjoyed it a lot, mate, I'll be honest. It was excellent fun, wasn't it? I think that first half is probably the absolute culmination of everything Postecoglou's trying to achieve at the moment. The interplay between the midfielders and the front three was sensational at times. Just absolute entertainment. And obviously, you start to worry when Hibs get a goal back. You think, oh god, we've put ourselves in such a good position here. Like, are they gonna come right back at us? But excellent defending in the second half. I thought we were resolute. I thought. The centre-back pairing has been really, really solid, and I was delighted at full time. Fantastic game.
Yeah, I mean, the way we controlled the game right from the start for me was the biggest, plus you can give the side. These games in the past have been really frantic, end to end. The two games last season, especially the 2-2 draw we had there, we were just all over the place, and we looked like conceding every time Hibs went forward. I thought last night we were much better defensively. Sure, Joe Hart makes a couple of really good saves at important times, but in general, I thought it was great. Was that first half the best we've played this season under Ange, Jackie?
I think it's definitely up there, yeah. I mean, the chances created, the movement. Again, I keep talking about energy, but I think that's the overriding thing there. The fitness levels and energy that the players have, and the freedom that they're creating. It's causing havoc. You've seen it with not just the chances they created, and I think that's where Hibs struggled, their movement in between each other, and Rogic coming through and slipping it through as well, taking 2 or 3 players out the game. But no, I thought it was exciting football, and a place that we've struggled for, even with a dominant sides, we've struggled to win there. So, we've got a good bit of momentum just now.
Who impressed us then? Euan, you can pick someone out first.
I thought it was really sad that Rogic had come off. I thought he was absolutely electric the first, about half an hour, 40 minutes he played. We've had these worries about whether or not Rogic and Turnbull can star together in that midfield, whether they're sort of cancel each other out almost, having two number 10s in that setup. But I thought he was absolutely sensational. Some of the footwork, some of the space that he saw that others didn't. And then that didn't limit Turnbull at all, who I thought was fantastic from set pieces and really good in the ball too. So yeah, they were so sad. They were starting to click, like really, really click, and then Rogic has to come off injured. But I thought he was fantastic in that first half.
I think it was a precautionary substitution. I think it was his hamstring, maybe he just felt it twinge, so more of a precaution than anything else.
Right.
It was a bit of a talking point a few weeks ago, Jackie. Can Turnbull and Rogic play in the same team? You can't really argue with it at the moment. I think they've played, the last 3 or 4 games since the international break, and we've won all of them convincingly.
Yeah, and it's pleasing because it is attacking. It's an attacking formation with the two of them in, because they're not really defensive minded. That was the concern when you're playing better opposition, in Europe. That, it would expose that in the midfield area or be overrun in midfield. But I think they'll get an understanding with each other as well, and hopefully Rogic isn't missing, for long, if at all. Because you want him to have that momentum that he's got at the moment, not just playing games, but a consistency in his games. That's always been the big issue with Rogic for me is the consistency in playing games first and foremost, but also in playing good and playing well.
Who do you want to pick out then, Jackie? You can have the choice of any player apart from Rogic.
I don't know. It's a tough one. There's a few of them that have impressed me again. Ralston, I like Ralston at the moment. I think we spoke a number of times at the start of the season about the new manager coming in. I've experienced myself, and sometimes, if he'd went with things at the start, he probably wouldn't be in this situation, Ralston. Fast forward it from last year, you wouldn't have thought for a minute, the turnaround for him. So I'm pleased for him because, people can write you off, and he's come back strong and shown a real mentality about him. There's talk of a new contract as well, which I think is deserved for what he's done. So I think between him and Turnbull for me, Turnbull for his all-round play.
Yeah, I thought Turnbull controlled the game last night. One thing I did want to get your opinion on as a former fullback, what do you make of Juranovic at the moment playing left back? I mean, I know he's, the manager's maybe not got a lot of options at the moment, and I thought Juranovic again last night was good. But what do you think of the overall kind of, signing an international right back and then playing him on the left-hand side?
I've got no issues with that. I think, I think he's comfortable. It just takes away. I mean, I played that under Martin, the left back, as predominantly right footer. You're not expecting him to get to the byline with himself, but I don't think we were doing that anyway. Getting the left full back to the byline and whipping balls in. He's got players in front of him that you want him to support. Jota, you don't need to overlap Jota at the moment.
No way.
You just want to leave him and give him the space. It's different if you're playing with someone in there that is going to drive inside and is struggling to get past people. But Jota doesn't need a left back to get in behind him right now and whip balls in. You just give him the ball and support him. And obviously he can take the penalties as well.
Yeah, I was a very limited footballer back in the day at boys club level, and believe it or not, I was a right back as well. And if you'd asked me to play on the left hand side, I think it would have been the hardest position to get used to. I think I would rather have played centre mid, centre back, even right mid than play left back, because just the idea of having to cut back into your right foot at all points, and Juranovic doesn't really seem to be confident in his left foot at all. And it was one thing I noticed on Saturday, everything he did was cutting back into the right. So, but do we have space for him at right back at the moment with how well Ralston's playing? It's obviously a great issue to have, Euan, but you would assume in the not too distant future that the Croatia right back would become the Celtic right back.
It is a bizarre situation, isn't it? Because with Ralston, it's not just been like 1 or 2 flash in the pan performances. He's at least an 8 out of 10 every single week at the moment. And so, it's good enough that he became part of the squad and became someone that Postecoglou can rely on. But to be like a star player every week, again, like none of us could have seen this happening. You would imagine over the balance of the season that Jovanovic will probably get more opportunities at right back, purely because we're playing so many games that the rotation is going to have to be a key part of. I mean, certainly in the next couple of months coming up, Postecoglou is going to have to rotate players. So, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, of all the positions in the team, in terms of everyone who's on form, you can't really drop them either. So. No, it's going to be a really, really interesting situation to see how he negotiates that. But I get the sense that Ralston is enjoying this, and I get the sense that as someone who came through the academy, and as someone who wasn't particularly, and I say this with no harm to him, wasn't particularly impressive before this season. He'll understand how it goes. He'll understand what squad management's all about. So I can't see him making a fuss or causing any trouble if he needs to get dropped for a few games. But yeah, he's been fantastic, and his attitude is second to none. Really big fan of his.
Out of interest, Jackie, how did you manage at left back in your playing days? Are you just so good that you could play anywhere?
He was good.
No, I think when you're playing there and you're predominantly right-footed, you're opening the game up. When you're left, when it's a natural left footer down that side, that they play down the channel. But when you can come inside and you can see the whole pitch, I don't see it as a negative. I see it as a positive. It's just you get more options there. You can see, rather than just looking at one guy headed down that line or trying to whip into the striker's feet, you can actually open up the whole match. So, he's a footballer. He should be able to adapt to that, and even just comfortable enough to use his left foot as well. But it also gives opposition problems. If opposition they're expecting you just to come down your left-hand side and continue in straight lines, and you start moving inside and the game opens up, it gives them problems.
Fascinating. We'll move on and chat about the overall feeling at Celtic after last night. I don't know how you guys feel, but it feels like the support are kind of really level-headed at the moment, even though we've gone in this run. I think it's 5 wins in a row now. There's some fans are speaking about January the 2nd and wanting to do the business against Rangers. But I think overall the Celtic fans realise that right now the only game that matters is Livingston. One game at a time. And I think that's the way the team's feeling as well. First of all, Jackie, that thing that managers and players always say, we're only focusing on the next game. I've always wondered whether that is actually the case. Do players have the blinkers on, or are you always kind of looking a few fixtures ahead?
I think subconsciously you always look at the fixtures ahead. You're looking as a manager as well. You look at a block of games, but it is the next game because it can change so quickly. You can go from a high to a low, and things can turn on you very quick. And I think the fans are sceptical of that as well. Little bits there when we're going to have a good few results against Dundee and St Mirren and scoring lots of goals, then crash, we're going to have a bad result. So I think it's been a lot more let's wait and see. I thought we'd get carried away, but the signs are all positive. As I said earlier, the squad is getting stronger, the bench is getting stronger, he's got more options now. Even within, he's still got injuries, but it's not causing any major problems with the performance or the results at the moment.
Euan, is it just because we've been such a shambles over the last 18 months that fans don't want to get too carried away? Because it's something I've definitely noticed. The forums, the most folk on Twitter, it's very much just doesn't matter what the other teams in the league are doing. Just focus on our own games, one at a time, tick them off, win the games, and we'll get to where we want to be.
Yeah, I think you're right in the sense that I think it's a contrast from last season that there's no real point getting too carried away, and it's about enjoying these games. Celtic are playing brilliantly. We're getting fantastic results. We're playing football that we've not seen the likes of in years. So why not just kind of embrace the moment of it, as cliche as that sounds? And yeah, expectations are going to rise the more Ange Postecoglou gets results. That's just what's going to happen. But yeah, I think you're right. Folk are getting carried away. We're kind of just enjoying the present. I think we're quite entitled to do so after last season, to be honest. But yeah, it's good. And a lot of that comes from the manager. The manager's messaging throughout has been really, really good, I think. Saying all this stuff, it's not really about the title. It's about improvement. It's about, performances. It's about progression and all that stuff. And I think the fans have really responded to that. I mean, I don't want to talk for anyone, but that's the sense I get too.
I think it's different. It's a different kettle of fish. His target's to win every game. I wouldn't think he would sit down and say, right, I think if we can win 3 out of the next 4, it's a different animal. He needs to win them all, and I think his targets will be about positions, about the performances. So if his targets there individually, so if you look at the team individually, is he improving certain players? Are they getting better? Are they getting fitter? Are they buying into his philosophy? And and I think a lot of boxes ticked with that. Ralston, exactly that. When he first came in to where he is now, fitness, yeah, is he better? Is he, is he learning and doing all the things he's wanting to do? I think go right through the team. There's not been many. I can't think of anybody that hasn't improved under him so far.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I think Brendan Rodgers did the same thing. We've spoken about that in the past. He came in and he added some players, and Andrew's obviously added more this summer, but he improved the core of what was there. And you only have to look at the likes of Ralston, Callum McGregor, from last season is just a totally different player.
I think the ones you can't improve will move on. I think you'll see that. The ones that they can't change and can't make better, that are not buying in, and I think that'll be evident over the next 2 windows.
Talking of 2, we're 2 points behind now at the top of the table. We've played an entire round of fixtures. In that time, we've been to Tynecastle, we've been to Fir Park, Easter Road, Pittodrie, Ibrox, Tony Macaroni as well. Probably the 6 toughest grounds we could visit. Maybe the only other one that we've not been to is Tannadice. In comparison, our rivals at the top of the table, Rangers, have only been to Tannadice. They've still got to go to those other 6. So I think there's a feeling that this could get, a bit better over the next few months. We just need to keep winning though, Jackie, because I feel like personally Rangers just look like dropping points basically every time they play at the moment. They don't look secure at all. We know they've got tough fixtures coming up. If we just keep ticking off these matches, we will be in a good place in a couple of months.
Yeah, and getting a wee bit of help as well with some of their results. Some of the decisions are going their way as well, shall we say. No, but I think the main thing is momentum. And from the Celtic side is they keep winning, keep playing well. We've actually had quite a few injuries to key players and came through it. Kyogo was missing for a number of weeks. And he's lived with that, and that's a big thing, that when you can, get through certain periods when you've lost your so-called better players. As I said, the squad's getting stronger. Mikey Johnson's and guys coming back into the fold. More and more players will be coming back, vying for places. I think it's a good point. We've played some tough fixtures away, but we've came through it, and 2 points behind at this stage. I think you'd be quietly confident that he can improve in that.
Yeah, when we went through that kind of injury crisis, Ange actually made that point you just made. He said we can use it as an opportunity to build resilience. If we can come through this spell, when we've got all these injuries and win games, we'll be in a great place when we have these players back. Is that something you used in the past as a manager?
Yeah, it is, because the players that are missing, and everybody else think, oh, they're out today, and as soon as they come back, they're just going to walk straight back into the team, or I'm only in here because they're not fit. But again, we'll use Ralston as a great example of that. He's come in, and he expected our lad to come in, Jazvich, to come in and take the jersey. He picks up an injury and can't get back in. He's on the left hand side now. Ralston has a jersey at the moment. The team are doing well. So I think I think it gives the rest of them real confidence that the manager's sticking to the team now and sticking to the players that are doing well and performing each week. And the ones that come back in have to be ready and have to make a real impact when they do get a chance.
Euan, is it just a case of dialling up that pressure on not just Rangers but Hearts, Dundee United as well? Just keep winning, and it just keeps the pressure coming.
Yeah, I think Ange has the right idea as well. It's not about kind of focusing on what everyone else is doing. It's just about, I think we're probably too late into the season and things have gone kind of too well recently to even talk about it as a transitional year. But I think Ange has the right idea for sure. Just focus on Celtic. Just focus on what Celtic are doing, and then see where we are, see where that takes us. Because it's been a strange sort of season at the top, particularly. I don't think many people would have had Hearts this high, at this stage of the season. So, and yeah, there's something about Rangers that's not quite right. They've still got the core of that team that was so successful last season, but they're going through their own bad patch. But I think it's just about ignoring that and about kind of seeing how far this Celtic team can go. And there's going to be really good opportunities in the cup competitions as well to build some confidence and take that into the league. And no, I just think we're in a really good place at the moment. Probably better than we could have realistically hoped for when the season started and the squad we had at the time. So it's like you were saying earlier about kind of enjoying this, not getting carried away, but really, really enjoying this, because I think we're beyond anywhere we could have realistically hoped for, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the start of the season, if we could be in touch after this first round of fixtures, having all those tough away games, having, barely, a first team at the start of the season with so many players coming in. I think you're right. I think we're far ahead of schedule at the moment. We go to Livingston. Well, we take on Livingston at home on Saturday. A wee chance for revenge there. We look forward to that one. We'll preview that on the channel, of course. We want to finish the video, Jackie, by asking you about an old teammate of yourself and his situation in Barcelona after the sacking of Ronald Koeman yesterday. Have you heard anything from Mr. Larsson, what his situation is there?
No, not yet. Not interesting to see what happens there. Who comes in if Henrik stays. Hopefully he does, because I know it's a job that he was enjoying. There's disappointing that Koeman's lost his job, but I think he had inherited quite a few problems taking over there. With the losing, it's not easy to lose Messi out your team, for starters. So, I think that's going to be a transitional club over the next year anyway.
I think that Barcelona board make the Celtic board look like a good, well-organised bunch of people. We'd love to see Larsson in interim charge, Euan, wouldn't we? I think that's the chat, that Barca are going to put an interim manager in until the end of the season, and then Xavi's going to come in. So why not the King of Kings, eh?
I mean, Ange Postecoglou has said he wants to build his backroom staff. I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out into the world and hoping it happens. But no, I'd be really, really sad to see him lose his job at Barcelona. I mean, it's not really on him that performances have been so bad. And obviously, the players seem to respond to him, and I just want the best for him. I think we all do. We just want the best for Henrik Larsson. I mean, how can you not love him?
The question everyone will be asking, Jackie, watching this, do you think he'll ever come back to Celtic in some capacity?
I would hope so. I mean, I wouldn't see him coming back as an assistant, to be honest. I think he'd be his own man if he did. I know he had opportunities to do that before. And maybe it wasn't the right time to go and learn, but he's learning just now at a massive club, and the demands there are obviously a lot higher than what it would be at Celtic at the moment, with Champions League and everything else. But I think it's great experience for him, and I think he'll learn a lot. He'll have learned a lot already under Koeman, so who knows, maybe see him back one day as a main man.
I'd honestly take you and him back in the team, to be honest. I don't know if you saw, but well, happy birthday for Sunday as well, by the way. But also there was a clip of you nutmegging Michael Owen that resurfaced recently. So I'd take you both back in the team, to be honest. Still do a job.
I forgot about that. He took me down after that. A few minutes later, he side me down, knowing But
Sure.
they actually applauded at the time, when I done it. So, but I enjoyed that moment.
Fantastic, lads. Thanks so much once again for joining me. We'll catch up with both of you at some stage in the future. Thanks everyone for watching this. A big thank you to anyone in particular who's subscribed over the last few days. You have got us over the 21,000 sub mark. So it's taken a fair while to get from 20 to 21, but we're now pushing on to 22. So thanks everyone. Brilliant. We'll speak to you soon.